All right, guys, welcome to this episode of Late Night TCG. First thing I gotta say,
what's up?
It's okay to be a casual.
Oh God, yes.
Let's go.
Yeah, so today video is we're gonna talk about how like you can you should be excited to enter the competitive scene even if you're a more casual player. And we have living proof right here, man. Like he is a good example of how like you can still be a casual player and like not care much about the competitive scene and still like do really well as long as you put your mind to it, right? I mean, believe it or not, at some point I was pretty casual.
Really?
Yeah.
Your first deck was salads, and then you went to pendulums.
Pendulums is a rogue.
My first deck was literally dark. I can't even say that with a straight face. Dark magicians, bro.
That's fair. That is fair. I mean, I guess like today's video, as you guys saw from the title, is how why you should enter the competitive YuGiOh scene.
Like why? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But before we get into the meat and the potatoes, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell.
Yep.
Also, when do you stream?
And I stream every day. Yo, how fun does that sound? Yo, I stream every day at 6:30 till like 5 in the morning.
No, legit sometimes, bro. I'm crazy.
So I stream every day at twitch.tv/pack_fish_tcg. If you guys want to hang out, watch me with some remote tools and just chill, come through. Love to have you guys there. Yeah. And Susan, when do you stream?
We stream every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 p.m. EST. We do a lot of more casual stuff, but at the same time, we do playing a lot of competitive areas of the game just to prove that casual players can succeed in the competitive space.
Yeah, exactly. So, now that all the plugs are out the way, we'll get right into the meat and the potatoes. So, the competitive scene, man. So Susu, I guess we'll start off with what inspired you to like start playing competitively, even though like I guess you originally just said I started off with Dark Magicians.
Yeah.
Now you're playing Grand Maju. And like I guess why do you play competitive YuGiOh?
I play competitive. Okay, I'll be quite honest with you. Like, I do have a lot of haters who are just like, Susu's trash at this game. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. Like when you watch our content and when you watch us stream, we're just having a laugh, you know?
Yeah.
And I only started to enter the competitive scene to just like kind of prove a point that like you can spend $500 on a meta deck and play the best deck at the time, and I'll still slap your ass.
Damn,
I'll take that ass, put that shit on the grill, season it with a little Cajun salt and pepper. You know what I'm saying, baby? No, really though, like it's okay to be a casual player. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean you're any less of a player, right? If you know an interaction, you know the interaction, right? It doesn't matter if you are a casual or competitive, but when you're joining the competitive scene, it comes up more often.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it's just important to realize, like, who you play with too, right?
Correct.
The thing is, when you play in your own circle and you only play with other friends that like are for fun, or like you play against other decks that are like more like just for fun, they're anime duels, that type of thing, you don't really get to see a taste of what like the meta competitive scene is really like.
The sweat.
Yeah, the sweat. And so when you finally do experience it, it is very like, what's the right word for it? It's very intimidating.
It is, but it's definitely eye-opening as well.
It is eye-opening. Yeah, it is eye-opening because we get to see that like in the competitive scene, we aren't going set Eternal Soul and activating Dark Magical Circle.
Bro, you've almost lost to that.
What are you talking about, bro?
All right, you know what?
Say something right now. No, but it's just like we aren't doing that. The game is much faster in the meta, right?
Correct.
Like there's no anime duels. Just like the anime comeback, it just doesn't exist, bro. You're getting clapped turn one,
true,
through full combo, and that's like like a lot of the games right now you'll see is determined by that first turn.
It is,
and it's like it's never been more relevant than now because it's just that the power creep of the game makes it really hard for you to play an anime deck.
It's more along the lines of like the decks are so unfair.
Yeah.
Because even if you were playing, let's just for example's sake, if you were playing Dark Magicians, right?
Yep.
And you were playing against Infernobles.
Yep.
But they don't rip cards out of your hand.
Yeah.
You can still go second and do well. Like real talk. Real talk. You can do well with Dark. But the fact of the matter is that if you put Infernobles going first and they have all gas in the hand, no matter what deck you're playing, it could be Dark Magicians, your Infernoble Mirror. Yeah. Like they'll lose no matter what. That's just the state of the game we're in right now.
Yeah.
And that's just competitive YuGiOh in a nutshell. Currently in November of 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because like we get to see that like a lot of decks prior, like this is like a true definition of power craft, and like the game is evolving at a very fast pace rate, right? Like the fact that like Virtual Worlds, aka Volkswagen, just came out, and it just like the fact that it turbos out an unfair card such as VFD is so crazy. But like Suzu said, there's an unfair mechanic about every top deck in the current game.
Yeah.
Like, think about it, right? Infernoble has Smoke Grenade. We have Buster Lock for Dragon Link. We have VFD and the Trap card for Virtual World. And then, of course, like, other decks such as, like...
Grand Magi with D-Shift.
Yeah.
Yo, you almost said it, too.
But, like, no, like, seriously, like, there has to be something unfair in each of your decks for it to be, like... really, really, I guess, relevant.
Competitive.
And it's funny that you mentioned this or we talked about this because I was watching a 2014 game between Patrick Hoban and Bowden Temnick.
The good old.
And the good old days, man. Fire Fists, water versus fire format. Like, really, really cool format.
Yep.
And I remember someone in my chat told me that Bowden... he ultimately lost if you guys watched the game, but he was playing Fire Fist. He got 2-0'd by Patrick Hoban. And someone told me in the chat that Hoban called this deck a fair fist because it was a fair deck. Like, it wasn't doing anything broken. And then eventually the metagame came on and realized that the Fire Fist deck wasn't actually as good as people perceive it to be, and in fact that the Mermail deck was just absurd. Like, they just had more gas. It just had had cards like Tidal be able to come back, and those rank 7 plays were crazy. I mean, many of you guys in the comment section realized that Draco Sack back then, a first edition original, was going for $150.
$150, bro.
Like, that is crazy, man. And so it's crazy to see it like that transcending even across time. That fact that every deck at the time had something unfair about it.
And you know what's funny? $150 then would be legit a Starlight rare right now. If we're talking about strictly inflation rate, right? $150 in 2014 is not $115 today. Yeah. So if you think about it, that's legit a Starlight rare.
Yeah, no, and people forget to realize that we live in a format where you can actually play the best decks as long as you have the staples. It's actually not really that expensive. Like, for example, we have like the Virtual War core, which I mean,
it's like $40.
I bought it $40, yo. Like, just think about that, right? And then you slap in a bunch of staples, right? And you got the whole deck running.
Yep.
And the same thing goes for like even Infernobles, right? Like, you bought the Infernoble core probably like $50 to $80, right? Depending on how many gear feeds you play.
Yeah.
But if you play just one, like I did, and played triple rental, like it's around like $80 for the core, and you just slap on a bunch of staples, and there you have your full decks, and that's why like I guess like creators like you and I, like we have multiple decks ready at our disposal to play for you guys, because it's at the end of the day we own the staples, and then all we have to do is just slap the core on.
Yeah. If you actually look up on my wall, I have a binder just for deck cores. So like, if I want to play a deck, I would just open the binder up, just take the staples out of my deck that I'm using currently, and then just slap another deck together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, just like a little side note, but if you want to get into this game and you want to diversify your gameplay, which Pac preaches this a lot.
Yep.
To learn every deck, play every deck, learn every interaction, because it will help you from not like getting scummed one day, you know?
Yeah.
And but the fact of the matter is like, buy your staples, and like we both preach this, but like buy your staples and have multiple play sets of staples, because sometimes you know, swapping your, like, especially like if you're not using the same colored sleeves, like it's mad annoying unsleeving an entire deck.
Or if you have like, you know, a girlfriend in YuGiOh, that's like, you know, you might need a second place for your friend, girlfriend.
It's like does not compute.
Does not compute. Anyways, now all jokes aside, is that like, don't sell your staples, guys. If you have staples, unless you need the money at the time, then just keep your staples, hold those staples, and they'll let you play multiple decks. And going back to the whole idea of like the competitive scene, right? It's that every deck has something unfair, and so the thing that we're headed in right now is that the Yu-Gi-Oh game has evolved really fast.
A lot.
How do decks such as Grand Maju compete in the format? So you want to take that?
Yeah. So realistically speaking, right now, There's one hand trap in the game that is widely available. Like, it's really cheap, right? And it shuts out so many decks. But if you're not playing the right deck, it'll shut your deck out as well. And that is in the form of D-Shifter. And I know whenever we talk about D-Shifter, we always like kind of memeing with it. But if you look at it right now, D shifters were 30 cents, and they're currently sitting about
$3
at $3.50, right? Like after shipping. That in itself is a testament to how good the card is, especially if your deck can play it, right? Because like even Zodiacs, like pure Zoos are running D shifter, because they can. It's a turn skip, right?
Yeah.
Because now their win condition is Zeus, and you can't Zeus turn 1, right? So their condition is set up Trident pass, D shifter on your opponent's turn, and then Zeus wipe the board and banish all materials, right? So like that's like one of the few win conditions in pure Zeus, right? But with Grand Maju, the funny thing about Grand Maju is there's three very important things that you have to realize. One, it's a normal summon.
Yeah.
Okay. Two, it's a non-activated. Like effect is non-activated.
Yeah, it doesn't activate. You just summon it.
You summon it and then boom, it's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Right? And number 3, not a lot of people understand that interaction.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would make Crusadia Avermax against me, right? And then I'll go declare attack with Grand Maju. They'll be like effective Avermax, and I'm like, read your card. It says special summon monsters only.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like Grand Maju is one of those decks that evolves with the times, right? You can when the TCG exclusive Dangers came out, people were playing Danger Grand Maju, right?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh snap, Golden Grand Maju or Golden Castle Grand Maju.
Yeah, shout out to Yashan.
Yeah, Yashan. And they're like, also, look, yo, Pot of Desires. Everyone's like, oh, it's a neg 9. It's a neg 9. But for a Maju player, it's like gain 4,000 attack, draw 2.
Yeah.
It's like literally the best card in the game for us.
Yep.
You know, and the thing with Grand Maju is because it's such a small engine, like with the release of Gizmek Orochi, with the release of Alpha, the Master of Beasts, they're all level 8s. They're free summons.
Yeah.
And they all pop or send or return.
Right.
So like Grand Maju is the zenith of board breaking while board building. And that's something I enjoy as a player, because I feel like no matter what deck you play, you always end up in the grind. Always.
Yeah, I guess, in some form, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because like when you're playing Plunders or Dragon Maids or Zoo Ellic, Infernobles, well, okay, minus Infernobles.
Yeah.
But every other deck you play is always a grind.
Yeah.
And like when I'm watching that, I'm like, I can't sit there. Like I can't do that.
Yeah, like that turn 5 is like unheard of in Yu-Gi-Oh, but you see that a lot more in like the mid-range decks, like the decks that Susu mentioned.
Yeah, and I label myself as a casual player who knows enough about the game to play competitively with no matter what deck I touch. And that's why, you know, Pac always preaches on his streams to play every deck that comes out. And like he lives by example in that sense, because if you watch his streams, and like it's the freest win at local sometimes.
I'm sick.
He'll always be playing the new deck, and sometimes the new deck just doesn't have enough support to be good. So like it's always such a free win.
Nah, see that right now, bro. Bro, I went 4-0 with Virtual when the deck came out, and I had an 11 card extra deck.
Bro, that's literally because people try to hand trap you when everything activates in the hand.
Yo.
That's legit why. I mean, it's okay. Let me rephrase that. If Pac is playing a new deck and you haven't done your research, like you'll lose. Because I mean, like how important is it to know choke points? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, we were always baiting, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you, yo. One time we were playing at locals, yo, and I was like, yo, it'd really be your friends who do this to you. So I like cleared his board, right? And then I summoned Hexatrude, and Pac was like, yo, you're gonna Hexatrude pop my kaiju, right? And I was like, huh. Yeah, Hexatrude pop your kaiju. And then I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it's because he's got a kaiju in hand, so he can't summon it.
Yeah, I had a kaiju in the hand, and I was going to summon the kaiju, then use the Trude to pop his kaiju overlay for OTK. But, like, he fucking, like, hypnotized my ass.
No. But, yeah, no, the thing is, like, the deck that Susu plays right now, there's a lot of really good cards that is really strong for the meta that's like really like super slept on. So we have cards such as like kaijus, right? Which if you saw my top 16 deck list, I played it in the main deck, and that caught a lot of people by surprise. But it's these like small techs and understanding of the meta that lets you compete at the highest level, right, of the game. And it's that unexpectedness, right? Like and that unpreparedness to combat what's unexpected. If I just said that, like, I don't know what I just said, but if you just listen to it and roll the clip again, you'll understand that what I'm saying is that, like, if you're not, like, you can't be prepared for something that isn't expected.
Correct.
So in this essence, like, when I was main decking Gamma Seal, bro, I mind gamed the hell out of all my opponents. I'm like, yo, draw phase, you're gonna use it? Like, you're gonna use your VFD? He's like, nah. Standby? Nah. All right. Main phase, kaiju, and then you just break the whole board. It's just so crazy. Like, even against like Dragon Link decks, right? You just go like draw main phase. All right, kaiju. Like, it's just crazy. But like, the thing is, you have to experiment and play with the meta to understand how to beat it, right? And so like, it's because Susu plays like in the competitive scene or plays against meta decks to understand how to beat the decks. Like, you can't just like, play a Dark Magician deck. Like, I think you can beat meta decks with Dark Magician.
You can.
Like,
You legit can.
But you need to understand interactions and understand like how to beat those decks. And if you don't, then you're gonna end up losing. It's the same thing. They don't know your deck, and you don't know their deck.
Exactly,
so it's just like it's literally like you're playing by yourself, and and then you're just waiting for them to act an effect, and you're reactive instead of proactive. Yeah,
actually, that is huge, because I think there are decks that are built to be reactive. Like, there are the Zoo Ellic deck. Even though you Dryden pass and you think you're being proactive, you're being reactive, because you're chaining Dryden reactively to their action, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to where I'm de-shiftering, that is a proactive move, right? They normal summon. So after they normal summon, they can't gamma or imperm you. So at that point, unless they have the single call by the grave, you'll shifter right there, and that is a proactive move, because you're waiting for your opponent to commit to a normal summon, and there are no blowout normal summons in the game. Like it just doesn't exist. Even if you're like, oh, normal summon Alistair, that's a blowout, right? No, it's not, because you search invocation, right? And then you have D-shifter in the grave. Like, like he's gonna link off for what? His Alistair's already gonna be banished if he links off for the Almirage. Like you don't have the Mechaba. So like in that sense, like, being proactive versus reactive is big, but at the same time you have to understand what it means to be proactive and what it means to be reactive, right? A Zeus with 2 materials is reactive. A Zeus with 4 materials is proactive, because now you have the advantage over your opponent in terms of interaction, which is something that you need to, which a lot of casuals don't know, but competitive players are always thinking how to stay one interaction ahead of you.
Yeah, right. It's like, weirdly enough, like related to Jester, you want to be one step ahead of your opponent. Like, and the thing is, like, the game is very sacky, so, but there are ways where you prep yourself for the sackiness, right? Like,
true.
You're thinking to yourself, okay, in what instance and what card can he top deck to like just win this game outright in like this like turn 5 sequence, and then how can I like play around those top decks, right? I actually had a play today in the V's tournament where I summoned Alpha, I bounced and I made Chakanai and brought back Dryden, make Tiger Mortar, equip the Dryden, blah blah blah, the classic stuff. But then I went Alpha, bounced my Tiger Mortar back to my extra deck, and now I control a Dryden that was summoned from the grave. And the reason why this is so important was because he was playing the Dogma engine. And so he tried to go like fluidly affecting the hand to negate. And I'm like, you can't activate that because my Dryden was summoned from the graveyard.
Yeah.
And so like, it's just these like small interactions of like thinking ahead of like, yo, if he top decks like an Ecclesia, a Fluid Elite, stuff like that, like how can we like play around those cards and then like still end up on like establish a really strong board and like presence just to like, stay one step ahead. And then it allows room for like the outplays, right? It allows room for like just going for like 1-for-2s. And that's why like cards like Pankratops is like limited. It's because that's a card that lets you trade a 1-for-2. And in a game where like 1-for-2s are so important, like those cards are just so ridiculous, right?
Yeah, and that's why like floodgates are so strong, because it's like 1 for infinite. Almost. If you really think about it, right? Because like let's say like you goes and match a D-Link player on Romulus. Like what are they doing? What are they exactly doing? Like they can chain. Like this one dude had an out. Actually, I flipped goes in on a D-Link player. He chained quick launch, made
summon the tracer and then send all his
and
wins.
Send everything else. Yeah. And I was like, that was genius.
I
was like, bro. I mean, to be honest though, if he didn't have the quick launch, he would have lost.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost like regardless, but like, I mean, like I was like, dude, that's like kudos, bro. That's insane. Like that's a crazy interaction.
That was nice. That was nice. Yeah. But even and I guess like when you're locked into darks, it's still like very playable. Yeah. But I mean, I guess like our question of the day is.
All right, Paisano, relax, bro.
Yo, let's go. Our question of the day is, I mean, what is stopping you guys or people watching the our channel right now from entering the competitive scene, right? Like,
Correct.
what is, I guess, inhibiting you or like stopping you, or do you even want to enter the competitive scene, right? I guess
Exactly.
just kind of like figure that out, because I'm kind of curious where our audience is at in terms of like their mindset and like their, I guess, level of comfort for this game and within this game, right?
Correct. I mean, I feel like one of the bigger barriers for people to enter the competitive scene is it's just a lack of confidence, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like most casual players don't have staples, so like let's just like put that on the table, right?
Yeah, but I know a lot of really rich casuals, bro. Like Susu.
Right. No, but yeah, a lot of casual players don't really have the necessary tools, right? Because like in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not pay to play. Because realistically speaking, if you handed me a deck I've never heard of, and I gave you a really bad deck, but like it's had its like round in the meta, like you would easily clap me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just on interactions alone. Like imagine if like I didn't know Virtual Worlds, right? And
no one did.
Exactly, right? And let's say you Lancey'd me, right? And now I can't banish the King Long to get my search, and I can't do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's huge, because like even today, I was playing against a Zoo Ellic Dogmatica player.
Yeah.
And I was playing the Grand Maju deck, and it was so funny because he Lancey'd me, and then in the same end phase, he tried to banish his traps to plus for the Eldic side of things, right? And I'm like, bro, you can't banish. Like you're literally under your own Lancia.
Yeah.
So like at that moment, I was like, okay, this dude's a casual playing a really good deck, because if you were really thinking about the benefit, like the cost to weight ratio, it's like if I Lancey him so he can't Pot of Desires, is it worth me not being able to banish my traps and having a Golden Lord on the board when I'm playing, when I know I'm playing against an OTK deck?
Yeah, right. It's like I guess like the thing that people need to understand is like, it's like, I guess overall more representative of deck building, right? Like understanding like, you know, like for example, I remember people talking about how like if you're building a deck and you don't know what you're siding in and out, your deck is probably not built like optimally, right?
Correct,
and so
correct.
that's like something that, you know, if you're thinking more about like someone who's like, let's say trying to anime duel, right? Like, bro, I'm putting in like Susie, bro. I put in Gimmick Puppet in his extra deck, bro. And he put in Gimmick Puppet in his extra deck. I'll pull the card up on the screen, and instead of OTKing his opponent, he made Gimmick Puppet and lost the game. And I was just sitting there like, wow. So this is what it's like,
bro. It was
to throw.
It was mad funny, bro. I'm literally remote dueling. I made Gimmick Puppet. I looked at Pack and I was like, yo, I just threw. I'm gonna lose.
Exactly.
Yo, he looked at me. He was like, the look he gave me. He was so disappointed.
I was sick.
Cause you know why? Cause like he dropped. Cause like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he dropped and he was just sitting next to me. He was like, yeah, as soon as Susu finishes this game, we're gonna film. Yeah. Susu got it right here. He's gonna 2-0. We're gonna have mad time, bro.
Yep.
I made Gimmick Puppet. I looked at Pack. Pack looked back at me. Yo, I've never seen someone more disappointed.
Bro, I was like, yo, bro, how did you throw this game away, bro? It was like you know how like in chess, there's like they do the analytics and they tell you like the percentage that white or black is gonna win. Yeah. It was literally 95-5, and after he made that play, any like supercomputer would literally tell you it was favored literally 5-95 for the opponent. And I was literally looking at this like, this is unwinnable now. It's just crazy.
Bro, but I was dying. Yo, I was legit dying, bro. Because you know why? My opponent thought it was like the craziest thing ever. Like, he was like, bro, Gimmick Puppet Grinder, that was crazy, bro.
That was crazy.
I'm just like, bro, I could have won like 40 minutes ago.
I was so sick. And I was like, yo, like, dude, that was literally in like Zexal, whatever that card was. I was like, yo, this isn't an anime card. I was sick, bro. I was like, god damn, bro.
But I mean, listen, as a casual player, I feel like you're allowed to experiment with bad cards, you know?
I know. I think like anyone is allowed to experiment with bad cards.
No competitive player's going to do that.
I mean, I always experiment with cards, and then I determine if they're bad.
Right, but see, you do it before you play. I do it as I play. Actually, no, scrap that. I look at to be honest with you, every card I read in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just broken. Like every card is broken.
I mean, yeah, when you compare it to like 2005 Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like which we all know like dear to heart, like Kyber versus Yugi getting slapped by a top deck Exodia. I mean, that's just cracked, but it's just like, you know, every card power creep everything we've ever known about the game if we started off playing the game watching anime. If you just think about it, right? Like we both started the game, but we've all watched the anime previously, right? I was literally like, yo, what is this blue monsters with link arrows?
Yeah.
Is this a ritual monster? Like,
wow.
I was sick. I'm like, I didn't know Necros got this much support. And it's just like, yo, like that's the harsh reality of like entering the game when you've like all of you know about the game is through like the anime. And like the anime is amazing.
Yeah.
But like bro, like people be banning key thing, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can't Karibo multiply and win today.
Yeah.
That's
just like not a thing. I mean, I'm sure someone in the chat or like in the
someone's
chat,
gonna be like, oh, I fucking did it.
Yeah,
I fucking did it.
Someone's like, yo, I figured out an FTK, bro. This is what you do. You make Firewall Dragon with all of them. You go Link Spider into. I was like, I'm out.
I'm sick, bro.
Yeah. But no, it's just like, I just think that at the end of the day, right? Like you're allowed to play whatever deck you want, but just like decide that like if you enter the competitive scene, the game is moving at a much faster pace. It's like light years beyond what a lot of decks are currently at. But at the same time, you can like tech your deck to still beat these meta decks, right? Like and we'll give a good example with like Coder, right? Like he plays Unchained, and it's not a bad deck by any means, but from the power crap perspective, right? A lot of these decks needs non-engine cards to win.
Correct.
Like half the time Coder wins is just because Torrential Tribute, Deep Barrier, Ice Dragon Prison are all just insane trap cards in the current metagame, right? Like literally calling D Barrier, call Synchro is an FTK.
It is.
And like you can call XYZ while attacking, like you'll go Dryden attach Whiptail effect, and then let me attack your monster, banish it, and he's like, on attack declaration, flip D Barrier, call Synchro. I mean, call XYZ.
Xyz, yeah.
You just get bodied, and it's just like, at the end of the day, you have to realize that a lot of these decks are winning by non-engine cards, and that goes to show how broken non-engine cards are, like in today's metagame. Like you don't win with engine half the time now. Like at least if the deck isn't like tier 1.
Correct.
Right? Like an Infernoble strictly wins with this engine. You could literally like don't give me tactics, don't give me any non-engine card. You win straight with the engine and the extra deck.
I mean, it definitely wouldn't be tier 1.
I mean, well, what do you mean? Without tactics?
Without Colt Wing, without your extender?
Oh, true.
Without fiber? How are you doing that?
True, but that's part of the engine though. That's part of the combo, bro.
Stay psych right now.
Colt Wing is Roland's best friend. You didn't know this?
Yes. A knight from the medieval days.
Yep.
And a fucking helicopter that's futuristic. Oh, I'm sick.
Yo, bro, hey, someone learned how to like fly the first helicopter, bro. The first airplane.
They had to build it first. They had to invent it first.
Yeah. Trust.
You're literally centuries.
Well, that's Captain Roland, bro. Just trust.
He is a captain.
Yeah,
Captains do fly shit.
But and then what else we have? We got Dragon Link, right? That strictly wins with those dragon cards. Like it's so crazy. Like Virtual World, I'm strictly just Virtual World cards.
Really?
What?
Virtual World cards, really?
I mean, well,
you're taking games with Shen, really?
Yo, VFD is kind of crack, eh? But I mean, look, you're not winning with like strictly engine, but like I said, there's something broken about every deck, right? But like most of the time, like your win con is like, I mean, the engine gets you to the win con. That's what I mean. That's like the better way to better way to like phrase it. Like the Infernoble engine gets you to the win condition. Like the dragon engine gets you to the win condition. Like the Virtual War cards gets you to the win condition. Like what else is top tier right now?
Grand Maju. Bro, what? Objectively speaking?
What? That deck is not, bro. Meta means there's a high representation of that deck being played. You're literally the only Grand Maju player in a 191 event.
I legit beat every single meta deck.
Yeah, but that's not like a testament to like it being a meta deck.
Sick.
It's more that the deck was suited up to like combat the meta game.
Bro, not once in that statement did he say it was me, bro. I'm sick. Yo,
no.
Yo, we can really be your friends, bro. I'm sick.
Suzu figure out the goo, bro.
Yo, fuck this, bro.
I'm out. I sent him the deck list, bro. Yo.
The truth is out, bro.
The truth is out, boys. Nah. He built the deck completely on his own.
Oh my god.
The thing to note is that like yeah, even the zoo engine, like most of the time, like you don't even win with zoo cards. It's funny enough.
You really don't. Yeah,
I feel like you win with Book of Moon, Ice Dragon Prison, Nibiru, D-Shifter, Imperm, Ash.
Yeah.
Like you're playing War Crime, bro. Like it's just. Like you're not like I feel like the reason why it's called War Crime Zoo, it's because like all the cards you're not using that aren't zoos are all War Crime cards. Like
legit.
like just think about the cards you're playing in that deck that aren't engine. They're all like insane 2-for-1. Some of them are like 5-for-1s with torrentials,
legit,
bro.
legit.
Like Ice Dragon is a freaking 2-for-1. Like there's so many cards that are just insane. D-Shifter is like a 1-skip turn. Like it's just so cracked. But that's just like the deck. Like the deck. I mean, Zeus, I guess technically is a win condition, but I don't know.
I mean, most people end up playing Zoo Control, and it's really funny because like I played the Zoo Eldritch deck against him. I made Trident and passed. He was like, and I de-shifted him, and he was like, yeah, all right, passed. And I was like, yo, swing for 400.
Yeah, it's like. It's like, what? This deck does 400. Yo, actually 500 with Tanky, bro.
Yo,
my bad. Bro, Dolphin's burn effect literally does more than Ram attacking directly.
I'm sick. That's actually true.
That's crazy. Like,
yeah, if you didn't open Tenki, that's objectively true.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's just, I don't know. I find that interesting that, like, the fact that decks have to resort to non-engine. Like, look at your deck. How many non-Grand Magic cards do you play? The entire deck.
All right, let's be fair. How many Grand Magic cards are there? All right.
Bro, there's Grand Magic Majoret. There's, like...
You know what's really funny? You could play a 10,000 Dragon Grand Maju deck. You know why?
Why?
Because Mazoret gains the attack of all attributed monsters to summon it.
Oh, that's cool.
So you're literally replacing a 10,000 attack 10,000 Dragon for a 10,000 attack.
I'm sick.
This video went. You know what? This video's been going on for too long.
This one's been going on for too long. But all right, guys. Look, thank you everyone for tuning in and hanging out with us. If you want to see the second part of this, go check it out in the description box below. You'll find head-to-head battles in the first description.
Let's go.
The first link. So go check that out. Hope you guys enjoy this. And as always, don't forget to answer that question.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.